Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? My name is Derek Hayden. I'm here with Garrett Ulmer. We are your hosts for the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. We'll go ahead and get kicked off here with our guest today. Our guest earned her cosmetology degree from Lakeland College. She is currently a hairstylist at Hair MD in downtown Shelbyville, Illinois. She is a managing market mentor at Monate. She is also a real estate investor, community leader, and entrepreneur extraordinaire. Central Illinois, please welcome to the show, Miss Casey Dragovan. How are you doing, Casey?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well. You got a pretty good little resume there. So
that sounded like that made me sound like $1 million.
Well, it's the intro that you deserve, and we're excited to have you on the show.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Well, what I will do is I'll kick it over to Garrett to get to know Casey a little more and dig into what strikes Casey with her speed round answers here.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the things, we appreciate you jumping on, but one of the things that I think that seems to be a trend, Derek, is the individuals that we have on have a million different things going on. And we wonder how you've got time to jump on here with us for 20 to 30 minutes. So we're extremely happy to have you jump on here with us. Okay. So before we jump into getting too much of your story, we're going to ask you 6 questions in under 60 seconds so our listeners can get a little better idea of who Casey is. All right?
All right.
Okay. So the first one is, if you're ready.
I'm nervous.
No, you'll do great. Your first concert.
Oh my gosh. Backstreet Boys.
All right. Favorite movie.
Wolf of Wall Street.
I love it. Favorite ice cream flavor.
Lemon.
Great. iPhone or Android?
iPhone all the way.
We're right there with you. Favorite social media platform?
Ooh, Instagram.
All right.
Okay.
And why Central Illinois?
I had no choice in that one. My whole family is here.
Yep. Well, we'll accept that. So.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing, Casey. One thing that we'll start off with, now that we have a little better understanding of your background and what you like to do, could you just give us a quick rundown? Try to keep it, 2 to 3 minutes. Take us back as far as you'd like, and bring us up to speed of where you got to, or how you got to where you are now. Just give us a kind of a background of who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So right out of high school, I went to cosmetology school, and that's a year-long program. So after that year, I started up at Hair MD, where I still am. So that's 13 years. And along the way, they didn't really tell you in hair school that when you get out into the real world and you're like at a salon, you don't have any clients. Like, you're not just making money. Like, you just have to sit there and like wait for people to call, wait for people to walk in the door or whatever. And so along the way of building my clientele at the salon, I have dabbled in several different things. I actually started out just making some like little jewelry items. I had a request from somebody that said, "Hey, you're creative. You think you could make this?" And they showed me a picture, and I'm like, "Well, I'll try." And I made something for them. Well, when you make jewelry, you can't just buy like a couple beads and a couple chains or whatever. Like, you have to buy 100, gold beads and 100 turquoise beads and a whole spool of wire. And so anyway, I started out and I made this one thing for somebody. Well, then somebody else wanted one and somebody else wanted one. So I was just making these things. And then I had other requests. "Hey, could you make this? Could you do this?" So I actually started and had a little jewelry business. I would sell my stuff up at the salon. I would set up at the farmer's market here in Shelbyville. And then that turned into, I had an Etsy shop online. And then I actually got into some bigger things. We started like rehabbing old furniture. And with my best friend that I work for at the salon now, Maggie Daniel, she and I would refab like old furniture and take it to different markets. I had my jewelry in different shops around Shelbyville, Decatur, Effingham, and we would set up at the Hobnob Market, which is kind of a bigger like vintage and handmade market that's around here. So really like alongside like building my clientele, I was doing that in my free time. Maggie and I also started a wedding decorating and like event planning business that we had for about 3 years. And that just came along. It just was born naturally from decorating our own weddings, baby showers, bridal showers, helping friends do the same. And we had just acquired so much stuff that people were asking if they could borrow it all the time. We're like, well, hey, maybe this could be a business. We didn't have any rental companies at the time. And so we had a bunch of more so like vintage items that people could rent for their weddings, or we could go set it up and kind of help plan their events. So there were a couple weekends where we did hair in the morning. Actually, like on a Friday, we'd go set up a wedding. Saturday, we'd go do hair at somebody else's wedding, completely different clients. And then Saturday night, we'd go pick up the rentals from the first wedding. So we did that back and forth for a while. Again, still building my clientele at the salon. And that got busier. And then like 6 years ago is when I started in my network marketing company. Again, that thing just kind of fell in my lap and it's been successful because the products actually work. I started so that a couple clients could use the products that were clinically proven to help your hair to grow back. And I had a couple ladies that were thinning and I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but we could try it. And within like 4 weeks, we saw new hair growth. And so for 6 years, I've been with that network marketing company and it's been very lucrative. And I've been able to kind of retire those other little side hustles. And so now I solely do my Monat business and work at the salon.
Very cool. So it sounds like you were kind of forced into being entrepreneurial from the get-go because
yes.
Yeah.
If you wanted clients and wanted money, you had to figure out ways to get it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So obviously a big struggle for you when you first started in the hair business was no customers. That was, so you found a way to at least bring in some type of revenue to support yourself while you're trying to get people in your chair.
Yes.
So what do you think helped you the most from day one in the hair business to building your clientele as a hairstylist? What do you think has been the biggest attribute to building that business?
I think and seen some other stylists who have come and gone from our salon is just being there consistently, showing up even when you didn't have customers. Like I would go to work and have nobody on my books, or I might have one haircut at 2:00 in the afternoon, but I went every day at 10:00 and I would sweep, I would clean the salon, I would answer the phones and like pray to God that the person walking on the sidewalk needed a haircut or needed their hair colored and that they would come in. And, but it took like me sitting there and being there every single day to gain those clients, because like we've had other stylists who have come and gone, like I said, and you know, they would say, well, I don't have any customers, so I'm just going to go home for a couple hours. Just let me know if anybody walks in. Well, if somebody walks in and you're like, oh, wait a second, I got to call somebody, they got to come back. They're like, no, it's fine. And they move on. Like you've got to be there. And that's what gains like that trust in people. And some of those people most of those people that walked in 10, 11, 12 years ago are still like regular clients of mine that come every like 4 to 6 weeks now.
Yeah. So
now, at that time in your career, were you utilizing social media or any platform at that point to try to grow your business?
So a little bit. So that was 13 years ago. We just talked to the CEO class at the high school. And we were like, when we started our business, we didn't have social media. And I'm like, that feels like ages ago.
You feel like we're old now, right?
Yes. So it's been, I do feel like not as many people were on social media and not as many people were using it as business or for business, but we did. Anytime I did a hair color or like a color, haircut or color, I would take pictures of it and post it on Facebook. I mean, I see the memories when they pop up now and I'm like, these are terrible pictures, like terrible quality. But that got people, like the people who were on social media, when they see a picture of that, they're like, oh, that reminds me, I do need my hair colored, or, oh, hey, I do need a haircut. And so I feel like from the little engagement I did have, that got some of those people to, send me a message or call the salon. And we ran a lot of like specials. So we would discount our services to, in hopes to kind of gain some business. And we got a lot of people from that. We actually, when we talked to the CEO class, we were like, we used to take ads out in the newspaper.
That's crazy, isn't it?
I know. So we have come a long way, but yeah, we did try to utilize social media at the time. And I think it did help.
Yeah. Well, cool.
I've tried my best to follow you on social media. You do a very good job of, I think it's more on the Monate business more now than anything, it seems like, but you do a very good job of just documenting your day and documenting what you do as a professional. And I think that we could all do a better job of that. And I can tell you, Garrett and I have tried to do that, but it's difficult. But when you find something that works, especially on social media and, with Facebook being where you started, it seems like the more consistent you are, the more consistent the results are, for sure. Yep. So how much of your time would you say, just seeing that you do a lot of the, stories? Is that
stories? Yeah.
Okay. So how much of your time would you say throughout the day do you spend on social media trying to advertise your business?
Gosh, I don't even know. It just feels like it's just become part of what I do. I think that like being consistent and showing parts of your day, it gets people to know you and decide whether or not they like you and want to stick around. And then it also in turn gets them to trust you. So it's just part of my day. I know I don't document near as much as some people that I follow. And I think, I don't know how they get anything done.
Right.
I mean, every little thing. So I try to, get the, I don't know, the meat of my day, I guess. But get people to just get to know who I am without my business, so that they can decide whether they like and trust me, and then, want to use the products that I am recommending, because we are no longer taking new clients at the salon. Maggie and I both have a full clientele now. Awesome. And so, yeah, there's just no time in my I don't have 2 or 3 hours of free time to get a new person in for hair color, because that takes a consultation and takes a little bit of back and forth. And figuring out what they want. We do a lot of hair color. So those are longer appointments. And so I just don't have the time in my day anymore to take new clients. So we have stopped accepting new clients. And so that's why my focus, I guess, on social media is more my Monate business. And it's just such a broader reach with, like I can only do people's hair who want to make the trip, but I can help other people with the hair care products who live all over the country.
Right.
Earlier, you'd mentioned that your favorite platform was Instagram. So what do you like the most about Instagram and why, I guess?
So I guess
I'm always trying to learn about social media. So
yeah, so I guess I should say, I feel like from very early on, when social media really started to get some traction, I kind of did the same thing with my post, as like just letting people know like what I'm doing or where I'm going. I love to travel. So I feel like I've always documented that and like shared that with people. And so I have a lot better luck, I guess, or my stuff goes better on Facebook. I get a lot more engagement and a lot more customers, I guess, from Facebook. But I don't know. I like Instagram better. I guess I don't really know. It's just, it feels a little more private to me because, like on Facebook, my grandma's on Facebook, my parents, my sister, and, and if or Instagram feels a little more private and I could be a little more, I don't know, outspoken maybe on Instagram. So that's why I kind of tend to go, I do all my stories on Instagram, and then they have a feature where you can share it to your Facebook, but you can also kind of pick and choose like, okay, I'll share this to Facebook, but I'm not going to share that one, but you can share those stories over to Facebook from Instagram. So that makes it easy.
Cool.
Yeah. You mentioned that when you're posting on social media, you're just trying to be yourself and, allow the crowd or the marketplace to decide if they like you. And I think that's one thing that people or business owners, business leaders who are new to social media, especially, when they first get on, they try to be too salesy. Like, oh, she'd come in and see us and try my new product or my new service, and we'll give you 10% off. And I feel like when people get on to Facebook or social media in general, they're not there to be sold something. They're there to take their mind off the day, scroll through to, catch up on what's going on. And the more that they get to know you, whether it could be through your business page, but they don't necessarily want to see all of your, they don't want to be sold on Facebook.
Right.
They just want to get to know you. And that's a point that I think our listeners, if you are newer to social media, or even if you have used it for a long time, that's something to be cognizant of is don't try to sell your product every time you're on social media, because it gets old. People stop listening. They don't care anymore. Just be yourself. Document your day, document your process, be your own goofy self. I think Garrett and I get more comments about, us doing stupid videos than when we actually do a video that we try to bring like a valuable piece of information.
Right.
So people are there to get to know you and to create that personal relationship with you. So I think that's a good tip.
If you're doing as consistent as what Casey is, the nice part with that is they get to know you. So by the time that they either reach out to you, try to become your client or what, they've almost like you're their friend at that point. They know who you are. It's already conversation piece. It's so much easier for them to pick up the phone or message you because they almost just genuinely feel like they know who you are. So.
Yep. Garrett and I say it all the time. You'll go into Walmart and someone will walk up, that video you did was great. Like, what video are you thanks for following. But it's like Garrett said, it's like they're your buddy and friend, and you were doing it live in front of them. And, it's good because it's working. But if we had gone in there and said, hey, we can give you an insurance quote in a matter of 5 minutes.
Right.
See ya. So
we're the best in town.
Yeah. People want to either be educated or entertained when they come on to social media. So I think like a big just selling point for businesses is there's so much more you can post about your business than just, like come in and get this service for 15% off, but you need to explain to them like why they need this service, why it is beneficial to them or product. And I think that you can educate so much. I go over to the float spa in Effingham, and I feel like she does a really good job of just describing and educating on the benefits of floating. And there's Epsom salts in there and what that can do for your body. And there's light therapy. And she talks about the different kinds of light and what that does for you. And so there's so much more that you can talk about than, being salesy. I feel like if you can educate people, then that gets them, telling them why they need the thing that you are selling, your service or your product. So that's what I try to do is either educate or entertain.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I think it breaks down the wall. You're genuine. You're a person just like they are. You're not the salesman standing in front of them, because let's face it, if it's just the typical salesman, I mean, I hate to say it, who wants to deal with the quote, the 70s, car salesman from back in the day wearing the polyester suit,
Right.
You can break yourself down and look like and feel like a genuine person to them, then that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know what, Garrett? I think if we brought the polyester suits back, though, we might get some attention.
Well, yes. Yep. And I feel like she keeps bringing up this hair loss thing, and she's pointing on purpose. So, oh, you dropped.
You do not want to see what's under this hat. There's a reason I wore a hat.
I think I'm the one that needs the hat, though. That's the issue. So.
If we could do a commercial, Casey, with your products and see if we can get Garrett's hair to grow back, I think that would be the ultimate selling point.
It really would. Yeah. Okay. So have you, they say that your hair can be brought back if the hair follicle hasn't been dead for longer than 10 years. So you tell me.
It's been dead for a while. So.
Okay. Well, you might be a lost cause. I don't know if I can help you, but we can
Every
chat.
so often my wife will be like, why don't you just try to grow it out? And I'm like, not that guy. So it's been gone for a while. So I'm probably a lost cause for your
So in your introduction, Casey, we mentioned that you are a community leader. You're starting to do something unique here in our community in downtown Shelbyville. And I'd like for you to talk a little bit about that, because I think once it's complete, it's going to be a huge draw and a focal point of our town. So I'll let you tell the story of what you got going on.
Okay. So, we bought a building in downtown Shelbyville 5 years ago. And within a year of owning that building, we got some devastating news that an exterior wall needed to be rebuilt, like completely tear it off, rebuild it. And it was a very grueling process, and I will save you the details, but let's just say that I just recently recovered emotionally and mentally from the whole situation.
I bet.
So, long story short, I had somebody that came to me like 2 or 3 years ago, and she helped some of the kids at the grade school with helping them with extra reading, math, whatever they need help with. And my niece was actually in her class, and they had read a story about this community that these kids did a community garden, and they all had one little job, but all together it made this beautiful big garden, and they were able to like feed and support their food pantry there in their community. So the kids were like, what can we do? What can we do? And so she got them a grant, and they were going to do an art project in town, something that was like an interactive art project. Mm-hmm. And this teacher had spent the previous summer going around all the small towns around Shelbyville on the weekends to just see like what they do, what's bringing people in, what's keeping people there. And one of the big things was KZ Westfield. They have all the giant items, but they've also started incorporating these like art murals. And I guess there's like a QR code on each one, and it brings up like a map of the town and where the different murals are. And you can kind of spend your afternoon going around to the different murals. Well, because there's more people coming into town, there's different businesses that we're able to open, and the businesses are staying open later because they have the people coming. Right. And so she had come to me and she's like, hey, you've got this wall. It's kind of a blank canvas. Like, what are you going to do with it? And I said, well, we need to paint it. Like, we have to paint it to seal the block. And instead of just painting it one solid, boring color, we could actually do something. It was overwhelming for me to think about a mural because I cannot paint. I don't have that skill set of drawing or anything like that. And then to hire someone to do a mural, like, I don't even know where to begin. How much does that even cost? Like, it was overwhelming. So I started looking on Pinterest, and I found this wall that had gone viral in Houston, Texas. A lot of like bloggers and photographers started going there to take their content pictures. And all it is, it's very simple because I'm trying to come up with something that we could execute ourselves, along with like friends and family, but that we wouldn't have to hire someone. And all it is, we have a 70-foot long building that's 35 foot high. And so all it is just like stripes of color. So we're going to have each stripe will be 9 foot wide. So just stripes of color all the way down, like turquoise, yellow, some kind of like brighter, funky colors. But I'm just thinking of like all the pictures that could be taken, and senior pictures and engagement photos and all kinds of cool stuff that could be taken, pictures that could be taken down there. And the really cool thing is that my building is next to an alley, and this alley is going to be permanently closed. They don't want traffic driving up and down that because it's kind of in the middle of our downtown. So they don't want traffic coming through the middle of the buildings. There's people walking, people riding their bikes. So the alley is going to be permanently closed. So after we get this wall painted, I would love to be able to get some picnic tables down there, some trash cans. We've got somebody in Shelbyville that's creating an app. And so I'd love to get like a QR code on the wall where visitors and even locals, you scan the app or you scan the QR code, brings up the app, and it's going to have like all of our businesses, their hours of operation, restaurants, the hiking trails, camping spots, all that kind of stuff. And so a community calendar. So if we've got visitors, they can kind of look and see what's going on that weekend. But my main thing is I really hope that this can inspire the next person to do something, because I feel like, I don't know, we've all kind of like got stuck in a rut almost is what I feel like. I don't know if other people feel that way, but I kind of feel like this could be the like Kickstarter to like getting something rolling. And I already know a couple other businesses that are wanting to do some things. And so I was so nervous because I wanted to ask the community to be part of it, because I work with the public and I hear people all the time say, I wish Shelbyville had this, or I visited this town, and why doesn't Shelbyville do that? And, there's so many things that we wish that our little town could do, but we don't always have the resources, the time, the money. We don't have all those things to be able to get these things going. So I was like, I feel like this could be so much more impactful if the community was involved with it from the get-go. So I started posting like little teasers on Facebook that like I had, something going on that I wanted to share with people, and that I was going to need your guys' help. And so then I shared the project. Sorry, we have my air conditioning isn't working and our plumber just got here. So now the dog's going crazy.
Authentic.
So we asked the community to be involved, and I created a Kickstarter campaign where people could donate to it, because I thought, we could just paint this thing and we could do it ourselves and then post it on social media and say, hey, look what we have, come down here and take pictures. But I'm like, if everybody was kind of like involved in it from the get-go, I feel like it's such a small little project that people could see it being donated to, know about it, and then actually see it come to life, and kind of get on board with other projects that might come up. So that's my goal with it, is that it could inspire like the next business or the next person to see that, that we did this, and we did get it funded within like 12 hours. And that it might give them a little bit of confidence to do that thing that they've been thinking about.
Sure. That is a huge opportunity and unique offering that downtown will have. So kudos to you for taking on that challenge, and
thank you,
having the creativity and fortitude, I guess you could say, to make it happen. So
well, when it's done, Derek and I will have to come take a picture or do a video back with the
absolutely.
We can style it for you. We can no, that's very cool. Well, awesome.
Thank you.
So I think of it like I mentioned this to you before we got on the air, Casey, was the Nashville Wings. It's not even a true trip to Nashville unless you take your picture in front of the Wings in downtown Nashville. So hopefully, I'm not going to say Shelbyville is going to turn into the next Nashville, but we could, hopefully use some of the creativity that they've used to create some type of a nostalgic opportunity around downtown Shelbyville with that background. So
right. And that area down, it's called the Gulch, where those wings are at. And that area, there didn't used to be much there. And then they did the wings, and then that kind of went viral, if you will. People are taking pictures, posting them on social media. And I would like to have, I don't know if Shelbyville, I think we only have Lake Shelbyville as a hashtag. So I don't know if this is an opportunity where we could create something in addition to that. But then that way people can kind of tag that And then people would know where it's at and where to go. And then that whole area at the Gulch now, they have all kinds of different restaurants and shops because they have more people coming to that area. So if this could, create something like that, where people would just spend a little bit more time in our downtown. Because I think of it as even the little towns around us, Mattoon, Decatur, those places, if they hear that we have the Roxy, they may not make the trip just to come to the Roxy Theater. But if they hear that we also have the new frozen yogurt place, they could eat dinner at Joe's. And then we've got this wall that they could take pictures at. Like if there's just one more thing that gives people just that one more reason to actually make the trip and the visit, then, that's my goal.
Sure.
No, it's all about creating the experience. And it sounds like that's the direction it's going. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
So Casey, we're getting close to time, but first off, can you tell, where does your creativity come from? Are you just kind of naturally gifted with creativity? I mean,
I feel like Derek and I need about 10% of what you got.
Yeah.
We've got all these light bulbs and ideas that go off. And then we're like, how do we follow up on these? Where's the creativity?
Yeah.
We need to hire you, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know. My mom and my grandma on my mom's side are pretty creative. My grandma used to have I do say, I don't know where my like entrepreneurial spirit comes from, because no one in my family really has been an entrepreneur. Besides, my grandma did have an antique shop here in Shelbyville when I was younger. Okay. But my grandma's very creative. My mom is creative. My mom has an Etsy shop as well that does very well. She makes inappropriate cross stitch pictures. And I will just let
That's
you
awesome.
look that up on your own. But my mom has cross stitched like her whole life, just like beautiful pictures of like, I don't even know. They're very just traditional, like houses with flowers, like women in like big, like long dresses from like, very long ago. And she's always cross-stitched. Like since I was a kid, she cross-stitched our stockings. And a lot of times it's just a stress reliever thing for her. And she just makes the things and then puts them in a box in the basement. Well, one time on some social media account, like 8 years ago, I saw an inappropriate cross-stitch picture. It was very beautiful. It had flowers and all this stuff. And then it said something very explicit right in the middle. And I was like, Mom, why aren't you making these? Because my mom is very unique. Colorful. She has funky hair. She has a full sleeve tattoo. Like that just really was fitting for her. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So she has been solely making inappropriate cross stitch pictures for like 8 years. At Christmas time, it's crazy. She has so many orders on Etsy. My dad said that like 3 years ago, I think it was, her Etsy shop was nuts. She was 54 orders behind. Like people were ordering stuff that she didn't have made yet. And my dad still to this day says that she ruined Christmas because they couldn't go shopping. She was sitting in the car, like cross stitching while he was Christmas shopping, like crazy.
That's
so I do have some creatives in my life. And then I'm definitely inspired by my friend Maggie. Her family has been entrepreneurs for their whole lives. And that's inspiring to, you get confidence when you see things actually coming to life and people actually doing, like people that in real life actually doing things. And so I definitely have a lot of inspirational business owners in my life too.
That's cool. Great. Well, so the moral of Casey's story for all you listeners out there, get out there, show up, and make something happen for yourself. It's never going to happen if you don't show up and if you don't get off your butt to make it happen. So your story is very cool, Casey, from where you came from for having 0 customers coming to your hair shop, and then now being a real estate investor, doing this unique wall art to bring people downtown, and then obviously building your business as a hairstylist and Monate. So I even figured out how to pronounce Monate today. So
yes,
proud of you.
We got the lesson.
Awesome. Well, Casey, before we jump off, I'm sure we'll have people who want to connect with you. What's the best place to connect with you, either on social media or email, whatever? How can they contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. Social media. I make myself pretty available for, messages on Facebook. I'm Casey Dragovan on Facebook, and then Casey Lynn Davis, need to change that on Instagram. So
Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you again, Casey. And for all you listeners out there, make sure you are subscribing to the CIBL podcast on whatever platform you consume podcasts on, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. We are on all of those. Also, please leave a review. It helps us greatly. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and engage with our guests there as well. Until next time, this has been the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.